Welcome to Step Up Unfiltered, here with a bonus episode. Join us for uncensored conversations with extraordinary individuals where we tackle life's biggest issues and bridge division. Now, we're usually live on Luton Urban Radio on the second and fourth Thursday of every month, but we're back with a bonus episode, so we're here on Saturday. So we're here from 10 till 12 and 4 till 6 today. Now, 10 to 12, now we've got a brilliant guest. He's got a lot of controversy surrounding him at the moment. He's just been on Married at First Sight Australia. He's going to be talking about his journey from London to Australia, back to Australia, Married at First Sight, and everything that came with it. And also his past relationship, which didn't go quite to plan. But without further ado, I've actually got a co-host here today.
Hello.
So, Miss Amelia, do you want to introduce yourself? So, name, age, maybe, occupation. Let's go with, what you want to do maybe within the radio space and what you do within media already.
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Amelia, and I am 28. I currently work in music, doing brand partnerships with artists and parties for artists and labels. And yeah, this is my first taster of being on the radio, but yeah, hopefully we'll be doing some more. I'm hoping to get into that space, so.
Amazing. Perfect. Do you want to come a little bit closer to me? I don't see. Hopefully not, anyway. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to basically give Adam a call because he's in Australia. We unfortunately couldn't get him in the studio today. He's an extremely busy man. Hopefully we'll bring him in for a part 2 closer to the end of the year when he's looking to come back. But yeah, let's give him a call. Hey, here he is. Let me just stick my headphones on. What is going on, my bro?
I'm just chilling, man. You know what I mean? Just ready to get this thing going.
Amazing. Can you hear Adam?
Just
about. Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. We'll start off now, and then we'll get you some headphones for it in a second. Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. How is everything going on with you, bro?
Yeah, man. Everything's going good, mate. Had a good day today, so just been out Sunny for Darrow's playing here next week, so I got a little piece of, obviously not from London or Raleigh, but it's going to take me back to the days when we met back to the FIFA days, so I've got my tickets booked, mate. Everything's good, eh? Amazing.
Yeah, I see it on your story, Sonny Federer's there. He did a free concert actually in London last week. So yeah, he's really doing his thing at the moment. But I know you've got heaps to discuss. So first of all, let's just do a little introduction. So name, age, what you're doing with yourself at the moment, and where do people know you from most?
Wow, okay. So my name is Adam Seed. I'm 36 years old. I was living in London, obviously, the last 7 years, this, that, and whatever. That's how I know all you great people. But I've been back in Australia since end of 2022 because I got flown back to film MAFS. Yeah, so pretty much I've just been writing it out off the back of that, sort of doing some rebuilding. It took its toll on me going on that show, I'll tell you that right now. But I met some cool people, good experience, don't regret nothing, sort of thing. So, but right now, man, just chilling, just trying to get my businesses off the ground. Just got some big plans for this year, and hopefully get back over to London. Christmas time, I want to get it back and potentially move back next year.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah, that's definitely going to be great, your route back to London. And just to let you know, we actually have got a co-host here today.
Hello.
We have Miss Amelia here, who's going to help me. Obviously, for the people on YouTube, they can only see me and Amelia as opposed to Adam. So I thought it'd be great to bring in Amelia and have, a female perspective to everything that you saw on MAFS and whatnot. I know we're going to go into relationships and whatnot, so we got a lot of juicy stuff to get to.
Let's get it. Hey, I'm Amelia too. Nice to meet you.
I'm good. Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Perfect.
I thought this was going to be a video thing, so who's be stressing trying to find a they're trying to get the right boost up, whatever, and it's just like, I'm not even getting views, so now I'm like, sweet, kick back, let's go.
100%.
You had that lighting and everything set up. Trim.
For the last, literally, like if you see my phone, because my phone charger isn't really working, it's got some moisture in it, whatever, so I've just got one of those, what are those ones where you just stick the phone on it and it just charges through the back of the phone? So I'll just have to like tape that together just so I can stick it up, so it's charging right now, so I can stick it in my ring light. It's just been a nightmare.
It's not all glitz and glamour on TV, guys.
Yeah.
No, never is. It's never what it seems. It's everything you see on TV, trust.
Yeah, I know we're definitely going to go into that, some of the truths about reality TV.
100%.
But let's go from the very, very start. So let's talk about background, what it was like, you know, growing up as a, you know, a mixed race child in Australia. How did you find that?
Yeah, well, at the time, obviously, I didn't really know. I was 5 years old when we came over here, so I was born in Oxford, England, and came over to Australia when I was about, I think, 4 or 5 years old, something like that. So made a big move. Like the parents tried to get us, they wanted to move to Canada, but they couldn't get into Canada. It was a bit hard, and they were looking for chefs in Australia. So, you know, Dad being a chef, we come all the way out here because, yeah, it's been amazing, you know. I absolutely love the life out here, you know. Like, coming back to London, I've seen sort of what my life would have been, and as much as I love London, like, as an adult, I look around and I see sort of, like, you know, what's available for the youth and everything over there, and I think that they're kind of missing out on a lot of things, and I think that that's why a lot of kids maybe even sort of turn to crime and whatnot, because there really isn't so much for them. And I'm talking in terms of like playgrounds, and you know, we've got beaches, rivers, lakes, parks, like everything you can think of here, plus the weather, you know. So you spend so much time as a kid outdoors exploring, and yeah, so that was heaps good. Like, I'm very grateful that my parents brought us out here.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I think in London, especially now for the kids, everything is technology, mobile. Like the idea, I think especially lockdown's probably affected that as well. The idea of going outside just seems boring. All kids want to be YouTubers nowadays and whatnot. So in Australia, when you have a lot more outdoorsy stuff to do, I can imagine it's a lot more attractive.
Like, kids are still like that here now too, you know. So I notice it like walking around and not seeing many kids about and stuff like that, because they are all inside and they are all on their iPhones and doing all that sort of stuff. So it's just a different generation, isn't it? Like, I was just talking purely from like my generation and what things were like when I was over here and that. But yeah, it's all been good, man. It's all been good out these ways. But you know, it's great over there too. You know, there's a lot about London and England that I like that. You know, that I like over Australia, and then there's also things that I like in Australia over UK, so much of a muchness. But my heart's over there at the minute because obviously all my boys are there, you know what I mean? So that's where I've been. Like, I didn't actually plan to move back to Australia. I just came back to do the show.
Yeah.
And that was it. I'm still here.
Still here, yeah, I know. Again, I know we're going to touch on some of that later of why you're still there. But just, I guess, finalising kind of background and I guess life in Australia, how did that shape you to, I guess, becoming the man that you are today and wanting to make that jump to move across to London?
Yeah, okay, well, so growing up here, like, you know, well, there's no such thing as mixed race really in Australia. You know, you're either white or you're Asian or you're black, you know, so I fall under the category of just being black, you know, so it was actually quite funny because, you know, when I did come back over to London back in 2015, like, I consider myself as black, you know, I'm half black, half white, but like I said, there's no such thing as mixed race here. So I just identified as black, and you know, got pulled up pretty quickly over there by like the Jamaican girls and whatnot, like calling me like white boy and the milky black kid and all that kind of jazz. So like, I worked out quick smart that I wasn't black, and it's kind of weird because like I've grown up kind of like, okay, they call it like the token over here. I know that's probably racist, it's probably not the right thing, but it's predominantly white where I'm from and where I've grown up. So, you know, there's not too many. Well, there wasn't really growing up, but there is obviously a lot more now. So, you know, I sort of copped all the like jokes and like, you know, if someone's wallet was missing, you know, the boys would be like, oh, check CD's pockets, you know what I mean? It was always just like a running joke, and that's kind of like how it is here. So when I went over to the UK, I really realised that, you know, I don't want to say like Aussies are completely racist. I think they're just a bit naive to certain things, or, you know, just not as open to other people's cultures as, you know, as other places, let's say.
Yeah, I mean that's sad to say, and you know I actually wanted to go to, because obviously I've travelled a lot of the world and whatnot. One place I've never really gone to is Australia, because I heard there was quite a bit of racism and whatnot. I just thought I just don't even want to put myself in that position, and it's I know, and I used to work for an Australian company, and I said that to the girls, and the girls would start getting really upset and like, why do you think it's about Australia? And I know, you know, you've had some good times out there and whatnot, but it's interesting that like you kind of have experience, like, okay, you might want to call it subtle racism in Australia, but then you've also experienced the same from black people in the UK. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I just laughed it off like it wasn't anything offensive or anything like that. I got thick skin, but yeah, it is kind of that place. Just never let that stop you though from coming over here. There's a million amazing people over here, and that's not everybody, you know, so you know, you'd have no problems coming out. Like, this country is amazing, don't get it wrong. Like, and I really hope that y'all are going to come out and visit me if I haven't moved back yet. So,
100%. 100%. And I know when you spoke about us coming over, I was really, really on it. This is when I was a little bit younger, when I was doing most of my traveling between 18 and 24. But no, I would definitely go out there now. And one thing I would say as well is the only place in the world I've ever experienced any racism is the UK. And I've been to Eastern Europe, I've been to South America, North America, Asia, and worked abroad as well. So yeah, no, I definitely went there. It's
everywhere. It's everywhere. It's
true.
Like, you know, there's plenty of different races that are racist to other races, you know, like, I mean, you know, it's not just like a white, black,
no, of course
it's
not.
Like, you know, people get a bit sort of, you know, funny about other, either, let's say, religions or races or whatnot. So it's spread across, like, everyone really experiences it. So in whichever sort of form, which, you know, is pretty messed up, but it's still happening these days, you know, because, I mean, there ain't no time for that.
100%, and it's you're right in saying that as well, because even in like places like Thailand, like the racism is so much more rife than it is in the West between darker skinned people are basically seen as poor.
Exactly.
Because they spend all their time in the sun, and then all the adverts are all fairer skinned people. What are your thoughts on that, Amelia?
Well, what do you mean?
Sticky one.
I think I just sit in a place of privilege where I don't have to, like, I don't experience so much of that. But I think the only thing I can say is obviously, like, I've experienced it secondhand in my dating life. But that's been, again, like Adam said, like, that's been all over. Like, I remember there's situations with my ex where it happened in Barcelona. And it was so outrageous that even it took me back, because I was like, whoa, like, and my ex was light-skinned.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was like what the guy said was so outrageously forward that it just took me back, because I was like, oh my God, like, we hear about it and we know it's happening, but when you're confronted with it, you're like, whoa, okay. And then, like you said, a lot in the UK, the Cotswolds, very like white areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but
yeah, it's full on. It needs to stop. I don't know if it ever will, whatever. But you know, as long as everyone's just treating each other as good as they can and all the rest of it, you know, just, you know, keep your views to yourself if you've got problems like that. But I mean, yeah, I don't really have a problem with like races or colour, anything like that, you know. Like, I find it's just, if you're a good person, you're a good person, you know. So I just try and look at the good more than the negatives, you know. Like,
100%.
Life's too short. Like, I don't have time for none of that negativity bullshit. Like, just keep it away. Miss me with the BS, you know.
Yeah. Don't let it put you off though. It's a great party scene in Australia.
Yeah,
You like it.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm going to see Sunny for there next weekend on a boat cruise up the Brisbane River. Like, it's going to be lit. So, yeah. Obviously, you know, the party scene is definitely better in the UK, Europe, this, that, whatever. But
oh, really?
They come out here too. So they bring the vibes out here. You know, Aussies know how to party.
I know that.
How to turn it up. So
I met some crazy Aussies. I met some crazy Aussies, including you.
You know me. It's all good.
100%, 100%. Just before we go on to London, you know, in terms of like family life and everything like that in Oz, how did you find that shaped you?
Well, in which way? What do you mean? Sorry.
I don't know. So like, you know, like your younger days, like school days and whatnot. How did you find that in Australia?
Yeah, I guess, you know, school days, everything was all good. Like I said, you know, in my grade, let's say, you know, my primary school, apart from like my brother and my sister that was at the school, was probably, I think there was only a couple of other black kids in the school, you know. I think one was Filipino and, you know, a dark-skinned Filipino, and one was something else. But, you know, when you're young, you don't really notice these things, or you're not such aware of these things. But I remember that I was getting in a bit of trouble, and my mum like sat me down one day, and like, I don't know, she just got a bit emotional, something happened, whatever, and she was like, you know, just explaining to me, she's like, Alan, like, you're black, like, you're not the same as these other kids, you can't do the same thing, like, you're gonna be, you know, copping the brunt of it and everything like that, you know, so just, you know, keep your wits about you type of thing. So, you know, I took it on board, definitely, but she could see that I was kind of probably acting Aussie, let's say, and just whatever it was, and I think she was just a bit concerned with, you know, because obviously she experienced a bit of racism and that, like, you know, her being West Indian and, you know, quite dark, so she experienced quite a bit of that when she first came, and it just being that time too, the early 90s. So yeah, we grew up pretty, I don't know if I say like sheltered, like they were pretty strict, they kept us on a pretty short leash, you know, which is understandable, no other family around, moved to the other side of the world, so yeah, it was good, had a great life, like absolutely loved it, but I mean, I guess I probably wouldn't have started experiencing Australia as Australians do till I was around 15, 16.
Cool.
And that's when I was in my first relationship and like, you know, experiencing an Australian family and like what they actually do, like going camping and doing all that sort of stuff. So I don't think I really was Australian until I got to about 15, and then I really, you know, understood the country and just fully fell in love with it.
So touch on your first relationship, because I know that was before you came to London, I believe. Was this the girlfriend that you were considering marrying?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is the one that I was engaged to.
So talk to me about that.
Talk to you about that. Well, look, I'll touch on it. I'll go into it. Like, you know, she's happily with somebody else now. You know, just had a second kid.
Amazing.
And all the rest of it. So, you know, I don't want to speak too much on it. You know, it's already probably enough that I went on national TV and spoke about it to the world. But I did let her know that I was going to be going on the show and stuff like that. But so we got together at a young age. Like, I think I was in. Well, we were just friends first, you know. She was just a girl from the area, and pretty sure I was like working and hooking up with one of her friends actually. And I remember the first thing I ever said to her was, "Do you want to hook up with my mate Joe?" Because, you know, we were only, you know, like 16, 17,
yeah,
whatever, at a
of course.
house party. And she was like, "Yeah, okay." So I always like thought that was funny that we ended up being together. And the first words I said to her was, "Do you want to hook up with my mate?"
Classic that.
That's it. Just everyone's young and horny.
Yeah. You know how it is, you know, small town sort of
course.
place, so, you know, everyone sort of knows everyone. It's like, it's one of those kind of places. But yeah, we got together real young. You know, my first love, like I'd say it's my first love, like also my one and only like full true love, I guess, in terms of the fact that, you know, I proposed to her and we lived together, bought a house together, we've done all that sort of stuff. So,
wow.
You know, absolutely amazing girl. And yeah, I mean, reflecting on it and stuff like that, like the whole time I was over in the UK, I was just reflecting on, you know, the relationship and things that I'd done. And, you know, I used to blame her for a lot of things, which I realised was wrong. Like, I never should have done that, and just took full ownership for how I treated her in certain instances. And, you know, just, yeah, it still doesn't sit well for me right now. You know, it's one of those things that I don't know if I'll ever really get over it or forgive myself, even though she has, but it's just one of them things. You know, I turned into a person that I didn't like, and just looking back on it, like, I never want to be that person again, like I never will be. But yeah, so she's happy, and, you know, we knew more, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think the main thing is that you know, you're accountable for your actions, you know, and as you said, that you are. So there's not really too much more to dwell on.
I think it's a really big thing as well to acknowledge that, because I feel like taking accountability for the mistakes and actually going, do you know what, I'm going to work on that, and yeah, I've had to take the L on that relationship, but I want to be like a better person within the next one, says a lot about like growth.
No, yeah, most definitely. That's why I stayed out of relationships for a time when I was in London as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, I just had to rebuild, but the good thing about it is it's like I just held the mirror up to myself, and you know, even when people speak about it now, like I could look back at all the negative things and how I felt and everything that she was doing and blah blah blah, but I don't even voice that anymore. Like I just say, take ownership for my part. It was shitty. Whatever my excuse was, it never should have been. So you know, I should have just walked away or done whatever. So I just take on for what I've done, speak highly of her, and that's how I like to leave it.
Which is really good. I always feel like a guy that speaks highly of his ex is actually the good guy. You know, it's like if you meet somebody and they're just like trashing their ex, for me, I'm like, red flag, red flag.
I find that.
You know what that's called? That's called a narcissist. So we can talk about that a little bit later. And it's funny that you even mentioned that, because you know my last relationship was that, you know, it was based on that. Met her just talking and trashing her ex, and now I am her ex that she's trashing. Do whatever too, but that's all good.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember I went on a date with a girl like a few months ago, and she said actually something that I thought was so attractive. And her first ex she had a kid with, and he left. Her second ex was abusive. And she just said, I was like, I can't believe I'm literally on a date with someone that's had these experiences. You don't speak badly about them? I was like, that's actually a really good trait. And she was like, yeah, my mum just told me to handle everything with grace. I was like, that's so attractive. Because what's the point? What's the point? Yeah, you can, obviously you're telling me the stuff, but you're not going, oh yeah, he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. You're actually accountable for maybe, oh, okay, I shouldn't have chosen him as an option. Like, that's the way to grow from a situation. It's not just to blame. Obviously, there were awful people, but when you're talking about someone, it's not. You don't always have to be negative. Yeah, I just thought that was really attractive.
It's not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean?
It's not. I kind of find that that sort of comes with a bit of time, because you know, because looking back at it, like I'm speaking of it now, how long's it been? It's been 10 years. You know, it's been a lot of time in between. So you know, straight off the bat, I was still probably blaming her. I probably wasn't speaking that highly of her, you know. And it's one of those things, like even myself, you know, after being with not saying she was my most recent partner, being a full-blown covert narcissist, like it actually opened my eyes even to some of the actions that, like, you know, some of the traits that she was doing. I was like, oh my god, like, you know, I was displaying some of those traits. Like I'm for sure not a narcissist, because narcissists can't acknowledge what they're doing wrong. They can't own up to anything, you know, they're just full-blown liars and whatnot. So, but I know for a fact I was displaying narcissistic traits, like, because I was lying to her, obviously, I was sneaking around, I was gaslighting, like, you know, when she say things to me and I'd be like, oh, you're just going, like, whatever, like, of course I didn't, you know, this, that, and whatever. So, you know, it made me look at that, but I did realise that the most latest girl that I was with, she was displaying some traits that reminded me. I was like, hang on, I used to say that shit. I'm like, were you, like, surely not, you're 34, you've got a child, like, this can't be, like, happening, but, yeah, it did, but, yeah, so I kind of opened my eyes to that, even though I know I'm not that person anymore.
Of course.
But, you know, I just have a better understanding of, like, what I was being back then, you know?
Yeah, that's so interesting, because obviously you always had experience in those traits that you are able to see it in somebody else. That's that's mad.
Well, it's not my whole, like, it's not my makeup, you know?
No, of course not.
I turned into that person in that relationship, like I'm saying, I won't put blame on her, but everything was all peachy cool, and then, you know, I would blame her for a lot of things, like as to why I was feeling certain ways, whatever. But
ads, just gonna let you know, there's just gonna be an advert break in 10 seconds, so we shall be resuming. Let's dig in to your journey to the UK. So I know you come over to the UK, you've got into all this modelling, reality TV work. How did that even come about?
Okay, so basically that journey started back here in Australia. So yeah, like I was a huge fan of Big Brother, and first time I ever seen that, like I was like, yo, like this, I would love to do that. Like, how do I get on that? Like, you know what I mean? I just thought that would just be the coolest thing ever. Not really knowing anything about TV, obviously, but I was like, I just knew from there that that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'd just be sick to get on there, do that, have an experience, have the opportunity to win $1 million, whatever it was that they had, and then go on to do bigger and better things, you know, because I've always wanted to do something for myself. Like, I've not really wanted to do the standard 9 to 5. I've tried that. I've been an estate agent for 5 years and done the corporate thing, and, you know, been in construction for how long now, but you know, I want to be doing something that I feel like is my purpose or whatever. And I always thought that, you know, getting on TV, doing something like that, it's going to open doors and give me opportunity to basically do whatever it is that I want to do. So I applied for Big Brother. They used to do big call outs, like there's a place called Dreamworld down here on the Gold Coast. Not sure if you know about it, but it's a big theme park. So they used to do like a big casting call, you know, over a weekend. So there'd be, you know, thousands and thousands of people cruising down to the Gold Coast, and you'd spend the whole day there. Like half the day you spend in the line, just waiting to get in. And what they do is they take about 100 people. So the Big Brother auditions used to be they take about 100 people in, and they put you through these exercises. They split you up into, like, let's say groups of 10 or whatever it was, and you'd have to do little silly games, and they'd just be testing you, this, that, and whatever. And you all had like a number stuck to you. So at the end of the round, they would call out who they were looking to take through. And there was 3 rounds that you had to get through that day to have an interview with the producers at the end. So like out of about 100 people, they picked me and like 2 other people to go onto the second round. And I was like, wow. Then when I moved on into the second round, obviously you're not allowed to talk to anyone. Had someone from the show sort of speaking to somebody, and they were pointing over at me, and I was like, oh shit, like, you know, maybe I've impressed them. I just had a feeling that, you know, that they were pointing me out for a reason, and it turned out, yeah, it was, because I made it through to the next round, which was even harder to get through. And by the afternoon, I was chatting with the producers. So right there and then I was like, all right, I obviously do have something that these people want. You know, I didn't know anything about TV, but I was like, cool, I'm going to make it. Like, and that was it really for me. So after that, I just kept applying for Big Brother. It just didn't work out. And then, yeah, got into a corporate job and just sort of packed it up. I just gave up on it. Then, you know, obviously my relationship breaking down, and my mum suggesting to me, you know, probably go over to the UK and spend some time with the family over there, because, you know, we've grown up out here with none of the family. And it was just a good opportunity for me to get away from the noise, and, you know, there's a bit going on back here. So when I got over to the UK, I landed some job, like some real elite job recruiting in like the Citibank building in Canary Wharf. Like it was another dream job type of thing. And I remember on the way home from that, I was like, well, I've landed my dream job. So, you know, that whole TV idea that I always saw for myself, I was like, looks like that's not going to work out. Because I always trust my gut. I always listen to my gut, and like I always just have an idea, and like anything I kind of say I'm going to do is only because it's what I feel, and it always works out and it always happened. And then the job was actually sending me out to Prague, so I needed to have my British passport, which I didn't because I was only over there on my Aussie one. So they said, look, we can't actually send you with this round of recruitments. We're going to have to wait for you to get your thing. And it was taking, like a few months or a couple of months. It was at least 10 weeks to get my British passport. So they said, look, we'll send you in October. So I had 3 months to burn. So then I seen an ad on TV, and it was Coach Trip, and I was like, whoa, that looks friggin' awesome. Like, I'd love to, you know, do something like that, because it's kind of like Big Brother on wheels, you know, it's the same kind of thing. You're voting each other out, you're doing all cool, crazy things. So I applied for that on the, I don't know, Monday. I got a call on Thursday, and then they flew me out on Sunday to film that. So I was like back on the journey, you know. I was like, well, actually, maybe it is meant to be like that. So that's kind of how that came about.
You got flown out as a single contestant, if I remember correctly, didn't you? And you're with a blonde girl. Yeah, you're with a blonde girl. Did anything happen between you and the girl on the show?
Me and Olivia, yeah, they paired me with Olivia. Like, she was on her sister's Fran from Made in Chelsea, and
okay.
I'm pretty sure Olivia did a season of Made in Chelsea as well. Like season, I'm not sure what season it was, but you know, super posh. Like, I loved Olivia. Like, she was awesome. We did butt heads a little bit, but you know, 2 single people, being paired together on a TV show when everybody else knew each other and, they all had their alliances and whatnot. So,
It's a lot.
we had to try and impress the crew while also getting to know each other. So, but we ended up hooking up and stuff. Like, I think the producers kind of like wanted that. So, we had a bit of fun.
Good. As you should. And how long did you last?
I think we were like the fourth couple. It got down to about 7 couples before, I don't know, how many couples is it? Is it 10? I'm not even sure. We're probably I think we were like either the 4th or 5th couple to leave. So it was still pretty close to the start, but, it felt bloody long enough for me, like I was ready to bloody get out of there. So it was a bit stressful, How about you? How long did you last?
I only lasted, so I'll do it in terms of days because the way that our group worked out, 2 people get kicked off straight away because without going into too much detail about me, because this is on you. Basically, a girl came forward to me and said that she had like some issues, which meant because they got the yellow card on the first day.
Wait, were you on coach trip as well?
I was on coach trip as well.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Son. And she had a few.
I feel like I need to go on it now, guys. I feel left out.
No, it's fun.
100%. If you get an opportunity to get on that show, like that's fun.
It's good fun. It's good fun. They fly you out to like different parts of Spain and stuff like that. You go around in a coach and you get to do all these cool activities. But
I'm car sick. It's just to know.
There was a girl that like explained some issues to me because she confided in me, and she thought for some reason I was going to tell the producers, which I never would have.
What?
So then she told the producers. They got booted off straight away, and the whole way our group played it was pretty much that everybody gave each other a yellow. So we all stayed on for pretty much a week, but then everyone, it was just like a quick fire round for who was going to get voted out. So I think me and my friend lasted 8 days, but we were always going to get voted out quite quickly because we're really strongly opinionated. And do you know what? People don't actually realise how intense it is. It's very like gameplay, like people try to pick up on the smallest things. I think I said Ola Chica to someone, and someone was like, Nathan said Ola Chica, he wasn't with the group. I was like, behave.
What?
I was like, if I said that to a dog, would you be complaining? I said, all right, dog. I went and petted the dog. He said, oh, you're trying to compare women to a dog. I thought, oh gosh, these people.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
But the thing is, right, like the thing is with that is, you're forced to find something because, for people that don't know anything about Coast Trip, I know over here in Australia, like no one knows anything about Coast Trip. It didn't air here or anything, but it is quite well known, I guess, in the UK. But for anyone listening that doesn't know Coast Trip, it's basically just like a game show type vibe where you fly to a country and you get on a coach, you're with a partner, either you get paired up. You come on solo, there's only 2 solo people that get paired together, or you go on there with your brother, your mother, like your best friend, like something like that, and everyone has to compete against each other. So the idea of the show is just to try and last as long as you can, and you have to start voting each other out from day one. So you get in there, you go do some awesome events, you'll be in like, I think we were in Mallorca, Magaluf, where we started, so it was just an amazing time. And then the end of the day came round, and it's like, right, now split up, go into your couples and come back and tell us like, who you want to give the yellow card to, who you want to vote off for the day. So, mate, it's really hard. It's a really tough thing because you're just liking everybody. Everyone's really getting along, especially on the first day. And then as soon as one of those first yellow cards are dished out, then, everything starts getting serious.
Yeah,
from there.
and you see all these nice people, mum and daughters, then turn really salty and stuff like that.
Is it face to face?
It's face to face. So it's stressful.
Oh my God.
Everyone's paranoid, and I wouldn't even mind as well. Like the way we were, like you got wine and red wine, white wine on the table. So everybody's like drinking a good few drinks in the evening. Then you've got to be up at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's intense. It's more intense. But
Wasn't it? Long days
so
filming now.
hefty.
You're filming for like, same with MAFS, I guess, but we had a lot more breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's like 16, 17 hours of filming some of them days on Coast Trip. That was long. And as well, your
activities.
Camera crew, because you're walking like to go rock climbing in the middle of bloody you had to really, everyone sort of had to like get together and help out. You're kind of just a part of the crew as well, and that was some long days. But it was fun. That was one of the funnest shows I've ever done, and I'll one of the best experiences that I had. Like obviously I've met Conrad and Calvin on that, one of my best mates, Kai. You know, so like I'm some of my best, I'm telling you, like my best mates I've met on that show, and that's how I've even come to meet you, Nate, because you know I've met you through that group. So
we
you
literally,
know, you're one of my boys. So it's all off the back of Coach Trip.
it's crazy because I did Coach Trip, and then one of our boys, Mark, did Coach Trip. Mark and Conrad are best friends, and we basically all know each other through TV and modelling.
What year was it?
So, well, I did Coach Trip in 2016. I think Mark did the year before, and I think you did the year before that, or something like that. And then
no, because I mean, I'm pretty sure because I only got to like London at the end of 2015, and I know I definitely did it. I know I filmed it in 2016. Whether or not they filmed 2 in 1 year and then they play it, but I know it was 2016 when I was on. So you might have been later, bro.
Yeah,
maybe 17.
Maybe I was 2018. I don't know.
Or
The years of the years have all combined. Yeah, no, COVID just wiped everything out. But it's funny. Yeah, our whole group like literally know each other through. Some of us boys did Mr. British Isles, and we all became boys literally from then. I was going out to Ibiza. A couple of the boys I met were working at Ibiza. They worked with me in Ibiza. Then I met Adam, then I met Conrad, and it was all through modelling and TV stuff that we all became boys.
Should we tell them the story about Ibiza and like how our relationship actually started? Or our friendship, let's say?
I'll let you take over, but we'll be quick on this because we've got so much to get through.
We'll be quick on it, but you remember that night, right?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So it's pretty crazy because obviously like I knew of Nate and like he'd been about this, that, whatever, and you know I don't know, you know, obviously.
If you could see his face right now.
I'm loving it. Hey, this is Step Up Unfiltered, baby. Everything gets said here, so let's go.
Listen, the story needs to be told because
let's
it's
get
kind of like how it was, you know. I mean, and this is how boys are, do you know what I mean? Testosterone flying around, a bit boisterous, whatever. But so we met, and like Nate, he can definitely handle his alcohol. Sometimes he, you know, maybe he has a little too much to drink, let's say. So, but that's everyone as well, you know. But I met like this absolute worldie, and she, oh mate, she was fire. She was one of the girls that worked out there. So yeah, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was smoking. And I don't know what happened, but I think a friend of hers or something like that knew Nate, or they'd had a little something, and what happened? I don't actually know.
So basically what happened was I'd went to Lineker's bar the day before, and she was working, and she was like, oh, I think you're really, really fit, like, let me get your number, da da da. And I came back and I was like to the boys the next day, I was like, oh yeah, this girl's quite nice. And one of my boys was like, oh, I spoke to her early in the season. I was like, what, you only texted her? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, yeah, I might link up with her later. He's like, okay, mate. He was being a bit funny, but I was like, oh, I don't know whether I should see her, I don't know whether I'm not. Anyway, we've gone to Ocean Beach and I've had the craziest day. My story was popping.
Yeah.
A couple of girls stopped speaking to me back home, let's just say that. It was a very, very, very fun Ocean Beach. It was a great ocean. Exactly. It was Wayne. It was a crazy ocean beach. And anyway, we've left. I'd had a few drinks, but I still knew what I was doing. And I was texting this girl. And we've gone to Lineker's now, and she's with another bloke. And I'm like, I mean, not that I have too much of a leg to stand on, to be fair. But I was like, why are you texting me to come to Lineker's when you're with someone? But you're with someone that I know. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, well, there's no point in texting me to come to Lineker's. So me and her having a bit of back and forth. And then the girl that Adam was talking to was like, who do you think you are? And I was like, excuse me. I was like, well, I'm Nathan, da da da. She's like, who do you think you are talking to my friend like that? Who even knows you? I was like, well, to be fair, I've actually done 4 seasons here, so people do know me. Anyway, me and her were having like a big back and forth. I was like, how many seasons you've done? She's like, 1. I was like, ha! So me and her having this like back and forth, like shouting at each other. Adam's come to his girl's defense, started on me. Our boys are trying to get involved. Me and Adam had this like big, like pretty much like a screaming match. I'm being like sarcastic and like.
Hey, you've skipped something out though, because the thing is like I didn't know anything about what was going on with like you and those girls earlier or whatever day that was. So I've got to meet this absolute worldie, right? And I'm like, yeah, sick, and we were gonna go off somewhere after that. And she's like, yeah, I'll come along with you, like whatever. I'm like, yeah, definitely come. I was keen. I asked to introduce you to the boys and that.
Yeah.
And I rolled out the front with her, and then Nate just said something to her like, oh. what are you doing here? Like, were you like a spare tire? You called it like a
Yes,
spare
that was
wheel
it. That
or
was
something
it.
like this. Like,
That
what are
was
you
it.
even doing with us? And I was like, because I mean, I didn't know what had gone on before, and I'm like, why are you digging out my girl? Like, what the hell? Who the fuck are you? And oops,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was
Easy,
thinking, yeah, easy.
Who the heck are you? And then from there, obviously, just we got into it. But then after that, obviously, we become brothers. You know, when we woke up the next morning, it was like, what are we doing fighting over girls, man? Like, come on, lad.
But the funniest thing is, we just spent the whole like 6 days in Ibiza before as well. So I'm like, why are you backing up this girl? He obviously didn't know. I didn't even know it was his. I didn't really get that it was your girl. Because obviously we were all speaking to different people and stuff like that. So I didn't get what was going on between him and her. I'm like, why are you just backing up this random girl who's coming at me because of something with her friend? He's like, why are you just going at my girl? And yeah, it was just a big drunk misunderstanding.
So messy.
You know, I got a bit heated that night. A few of the boys had to get in the way, and you know, it was a bit heated, put it that way. And that was our introduction, really, because I mean, I don't really remember him too much from there, but you know, boys can sort of do that. Like men can do that. You know, if you have a bit of beef, you know, sometimes it even turns into a bit of a scrap. Like we were close, but that didn't happen, thankfully. But yeah, and then it can be all squished after that. You can become best friends. You know, so I don't know. You know, women can be a bit different. I know that we can sort of squish things, and look, we never look back from then.
No, of course not. Of course not. Of course not. There's no ever salty feelings. You make each other the next day, spud, hug, not a kiss, but you know what I mean, and made up. But I guess with girls, it's like you'll speak to another bunch of girls. Oh, she did this. Why are you that? Why are you friends with her? All of this. It can be a bit catchy.
I think it's just the fact that when it comes to men, women are more naturally emotional, so it means more. So it's like, you know, like you guys are just like, oh, it's just a girl, we're over it. Like, but when it's women,
I was like, yo, that's a worldie, bro. You're ruining my worldie.
Where's the worldie now, though?
What's that?
I said, where's the worldie now, though?
Look, I spoke to her recently, but I ended up blowing that myself in Ibiza. Like a few days later, I ruined that with her because, look, if we're gonna get candid here, we'll talk about it. Like, you know, I was single as I had high expectations, high hopes of like what Ibiza was gonna provide, and the boys were telling me like, mate, it's harder to pull in Ibiza than what you think, you know. And I was like, no way, like as if, like there's no such thing. Hard to pull is just not, those two words shouldn't even be together, basically. And I was like, if I'm not pulling the first night I get there, then I'm getting on a plane going home. That's the mentality I had, and that's the high hopes that I had for Ibiza. But you know, when I got there, I found out that basically everyone just likes to talk to each other. Everyone is just having such a good time, and everyone's kind of on everyone. Like every hot girl that walks past is either grabbing you or you're grabbing them to chat, and it's more about just having a good time. And everyone's chatting and planning to meet up, but never really does because you're forever running around, and the party just doesn't stop over there. So, do you know
what? I actually want to touch on that quickly. I didn't even know we were going to go into Ibiza, but that's such a good point. And I always said to Ibiza, yes, if you're really desperate looking for it, well, one, if you're desperate, it will never come to you. But yes, technically you could go out to Ibiza and try to hook up every night and stuff like that. But Ibiza, let's admit, everybody's drinking, some people are on narcotics, and like people are just on good vibes. Everybody wants to chat to everybody. Yeah, people might be attracted to each other, but there's so many events on. That's what people don't understand. Someone might get too drunk, someone might get too on it, someone might have, you know, they might have like 2 events lined up in the evening. So you might be at a day party, they don't have time to go back to yours because they're with the girls. They're going back to it. They've got an evening event. There's so many events. It's not like a Magaluf where it's just one strip.
As a woman, I am not going away to hook up with guys. Like, that is not what I'm on. Even Magaluf, literally.
Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean you as a woman? What do you mean you as a woman?
Like, from a woman's perspective. I mean, as a person then, but like, from a woman's perspective, like,
great point, Adam.
That's like me and my girls, I just feel like the mentality's different. Like, I feel like guys are like, oh yeah, let's go out and pool, like, and like me and the girls, we're not going away to go and pool.
You honestly don't think girls have that exact same?
I don't,
especially in this generation.
I think it depends on the holiday. I can only speak for my friends. Like, obviously, we've all got that one friend that you're like, well, okay, you do you, girl. But like, I just feel like we're on party vibes. I don't feel like I don't feel like we're looking to go over and
party
hook up with
vibes.
people.
It's okay, but if you're single, let's admit it. But a lot of women just wouldn't be as honest about it as me and Adam are. But let's be honest. If you're single, you meet somebody you're attracted to, drinks are flying, your vibes in, things do happen. It doesn't matter whether you're that type of girl or not. Things do happen.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the girls that we're linking are just like going and sleeping with everybody. Like sometimes stuff just happens on holiday.
Yeah, but like you said, on holiday, I don't think it
Can
actually
I just
is
quickly
that.
say, there ain't nothing wrong. If there's going to be plenty of women out there listening to this right now being like, oh, well, you know, I love going on holidays, I love going and hook up stuff. There is nothing wrong with that. So girls, keep doing your thing. If that's what you want to do, go on holiday, hook
Don't
up
be the
with men,
gatekeeper,
keep
Amelia.
that going.
Innit?
Yeah, because I mean we're here for it. But you know, I like it when we're talking about like the guy-girl stuff because you know, in my eyes, I don't really feel like there's much. I'm telling you right now, from my own personal experiences, I just scrap that. If any woman's trying to talk to me about the difference between men and women, I'll say 100% we have our differences. For sure, like that's evident. But when it comes to certain things, there's no one thing a guy will do that a girl won't do, and vice versa. So, you know, I've seen a lot of things. I've seen women do a lot of things, say a lot of things, and act a certain way. And to be honest with you, I've experienced it myself inside relationships where, you know, I've seen, okay, let's just say 2 women that I have seen that have just been way more out there crazy, wild, and done more terrible things than any man that I know. And I'm not saying, oh, that's an all women thing. It just makes me think that, well, that's just them. That's just that woman, and that's just that woman. But they're a woman still the same, and they're doing those things. Just like the majority of people will say, oh, okay, more men do this and more men do that. And there could be some truth to that. But that doesn't mean because you're a man and more men are doing this, that women can't do the same or worse, you know?
Yeah, I hear that.
I agree with that, and I think that men get such a, especially in this day and age, get such a negative portrayal, right? Men are seen as dirty until you go to like uni dorms of a girl's apartment or whatever, and it's 10 times worse. Men are seen as, we're going to touch on this, narcissistic, but the only people I see running around on podcasts calling themselves 10 out of 10s is women. What is narcissism? Having a higher sense of self than other people. There's a lot of negative portrayals of men in this generation which actually aren't true. And the thing is, it's not about women being worse. It's about there's bad men in this world and there's bad women in this world. There's good men and there's good women, and that's just it.
Exactly. 100%.
But what I want to do, because I know we've got to get into the math stuff, I'm just going to ask you a couple of last questions before the ad break regarding TV, because I know you've gone on a lot of TV shows, my bro. So kind of like, which kind of TV shows have you been on? Which ones have you liked the most?
Well, you know, a lot of the shows that I've been cast for have been like dating shows. But you know, we did another show, the same show on TLC. I don't want to say the name of it. It was the first show I ever did, but that was the first show that I ever did that really. It was a dating show, so you're going on the show. It's a blind date. You're meeting someone and going through the audition process. When you're speaking with the producers and that, and they're asking you like, what's your type, what kind of girl you like, and all that kind of stuff. I was like, wow, this is gonna be amazing. Like, you know, I'm gonna be on TV and I'm gonna be matched. I'm gonna meet the woman of my dreams, like personally handpicked for me, like by a team of whoever it is. So
psychologists.
Very high hopes. Huh?
Psychologists, remember? Psychologists.
Oh, psychologist, whatever it was, I can't even remember. But either way, I was thinking to myself, like, this is going to be it. And then, you know, experienced that show and was just like, okay, so now I know what TV's about. And, you know, it's not all what it's cracked up to be, let's just say. But still, I enjoyed my experience. And then I was like, right, okay, now I know what it's about. I can do that, you know. So it was a good experience. But Post Trip was probably the best, like one of the best experiences I had. Conrad and I, we went on MTV, just the 2 of us, with you know, the host at the time was like Charlotte and Bear, so like that was awesome getting to, you know, work with them for the day and you know, working alongside people, you know, they've been on X on the Beach and Geordie Shore, this, that, whatever, and Bear started on something else, but even just looking at them and seeing them as hosts and stuff, like it was inspiring, but it was also like, you know, they're definitely on a different level to like where me and Conrad were at, but we were like, you know, we had hopes to take over MTV, like that's what we wanted to do. We were like, we can do what these people are doing, like, you know, we've got more than what they have, so let's like gun for it. But that was a cool show. Like, I regret the tattoo style of thing, whatever. But hey, that was fun. It was good to experience.
What did you guys give each other?
Well, he's put his name on my, like, sort of little bit lower than the you know, the crown jewels, and it's got his name with, like, so it's like the girliest looking tattoo ever, and it's got like
Classic.
big set of lips. So he like put lipstick on, kissed a bit of paper, and they traced it onto him. So I've got his lips, and he was saying something like, you know, so whenever you're with a girl and like you're doing whatever, you know, his lips are gonna be kissing whatever. I don't know, just some
Stop
shit
it.
like that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
What did you give him?
I gave him, because the whole episode was based on like me and him going in there, and we were both trying to compete for Charlotte. So that was kind of the brief, you know. It was like, cool, and that's the whole episode how it went. So they made us in competition, you know. Okay, these two good-looking guys coming in, mixed race boys, like trying to get Charlotte, and that's what we had to do. So they ended up convincing me sort of to try and put Charlotte on him. So I did that. I gave him like Charlotte's portrait and like her signature. She signed a piece of paper, and then it had a speech bubble coming out of her mouth saying like something like "I love Adam" or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it says.
Stop.
But I thought my tattoo was worse, but everyone reckons like, nah, he got the worst one, because the tattoo wasn't really that great either. And it's like his whole leg. It's his like whole thigh kind of thing. So I won that battle.
I'm blocking you if you do that to me.
Right, ads, just to let you know, so 10 seconds left to the ad break, and then we are about to go into the juice that you've all come for, Married at First Sight Australia.
Let's go.
Ads, are you with us?
I'm here, boy.
Beautiful. Well, let's go to Married at First Sight. So first question, what was your experience like on the show? How did you find it?
Did you watch the show?
I did indeed.
I've been catching up, don't worry.
So what I mean is, if you'd seen, then maybe it might allude to a little bit about how I was feeling, but yeah.
For the audience.
For the audience, okay, like if you haven't watched MAFS, or you didn't see how I was portrayed, or you didn't see the mess I got myself into, then yeah, like I got mixed feelings about it all. Like it was you know, the biggest opportunity in TV, like talking TV terms and stuff, like as to where my TV career was going. Like it was the biggest opportunity, you know. It was you know, #1 show in the country, this, that, and whatever. So I knew that you know, it was huge. So like, I don't like how I was portrayed. I didn't like the edit. I didn't like a lot about it. I didn't like the girl I was matched with. There was so much I didn't like about it. I knew from my wedding day that I'd been stitched up. Like I knew straight away. I was just like, okay,
So
this is like, because everyone goes into MAFS. I know this for a fact. I'll tell you this right now. So for one, people out there, MAFS, Married at First Sight, is a reality TV show. You know, it's not real life, and it's going to be hard for anyone that's never done TV to understand this. And yeah, you have to do TV to really understand this. So, but it's fake. The marriage is not real. Like, there's real things that happen on the show, obviously, but the whole context of the show is just a TV show. It's, hey, let's match you with a person. Let's send you down the aisle. We'll film it a bunch of different times, bunch of different ways, and, you know, we'll throw you inside an experiment and just see what happens, you know? Basically, they've just come up with a formula for a great TV show that can be filled with drama.
I agree. And you're a pawn. You're basically a pawn in their game.
Do you think people's feelings are genuine then, like anyone's?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm not speaking for everyone. You know, there's a couple of couples that have been on that show and that they've made it. But just so you got an idea, I will say this: I was on season 10, right? You're currently matched by experts, okay? And the 12 couples that was on that season, 2 couples finished that experiment still together, so 16%. And if you've got 3 experts that have been doing this for 10 seasons, that's a pretty shocking result for, you know, couples to last their experiment that they've had going for however long now. So, and then those 2 couples didn't even last 6 months on the outside. So how well are these people matched? You know, that's proof in the pudding right there. The only couple that's still together from my season is Duncan and Evelyn, and they weren't put together by the experts. So
they weren't put together.
That should be a slap in the face to the experts. So if it was real, why did the experts not put them 2 together to start with? Because clearly they're the real couple.
100%.
Yeah, right.
And the whole
You know what I
thing,
mean?
and
And
you got
I'll say
stitched
this
up.
as well.
You got stitched up.
I'll say this quickly. It's a commitment ceremony. It's not a real marriage. I know it looks like that and everything, but you do sign and say that you're going to go in this experiment, you're going to give it your all, and you're going to do all that sort of stuff. Yeah, 100%. But because you walk down the aisle, basically you could walk down the shop. I'll tell you what MAFS is like. If you want to know what MAFS is like, go down to your local shop, find Nate, and what was your name, sorry?
Amelia.
Amelia, my bad.
That's
So
right.
Nate, you walk up to the first woman that you see, not the first woman that you want to see, the first woman that you see.
Yeah.
And Amelia, you walk up to the first man that you see, not the first man you want to see. Walk straight up to him, tell him that they're now your partner and that you'll be moving in with them this afternoon and go on and live a happy life with them from that day, because that's pretty much what it is. You're putting you with a complete stranger. You don't have any choice over who they are, what they look like, what their values are. You're just stuck with that one person that someone else has picked for you, and then you have to pretend that you're in love. Do you know what I mean? It's basically forced love. Like, I'd say that's what it is. But everyone that goes on the show knows that it's a huge opportunity. First and foremost, most people from my season, and I've spoke to a lot of people from my season, like, everybody says the same thing. Well, we all know what it was. We all know kind of what we signed up for. Mind you, I didn't apply for MAFS. I got approached for MAFS. I actually got approached for another show. They were trying to cast me for a show called Love Triangle, and it was sort of near COVID times. They were like, look, we need to get you back to Australia, like, quick as in the next 2 weeks. And I was kind of holding out because I was contacted for a Netflix show. So I said to them, like, look, I'm really trying to wait and see what's going on with this. And then they said, look, it's probably going to be too short notice. We're filming MAFS in 3 months' time. We'll just get you back for that. So I'd already known that I was going to be on MAFS well before they'd ever found me a match or whatever it was supposed to be. And, you know, they make it out that you're getting matched by experts, but you don't. You get matched by the casting producers. Like, the experts don't actually match you. They don't have really anything to do with you inside the experiment. They're just part of production. So they'll sit there on the couch, they'll have their earphones, their earpieces in, and the producers that are sitting out the back watching everything on a big screen is just telling them what to say or giving them the questions to ask, because they only show up for the commitment ceremony. They only show up for the dinner party. They're not there throughout the week. They're not there for anything, you know?
The ads, obviously there was a lot of drama on your season. How did the producers get in people's heads?
Well, so for one, there's a lot of producers. There's 2 execs. I won't say their names. There's 2 execs that are the absolute head of the show, and they're the ones that, you know, when you're going to be on the show, they're the ones that'll call you, and, you know, you have a chat with them, this, that, and whatever. But there's probably, like, I would say anywhere between, like, maybe another 10 producers. So because there's so many couples and there's so much filming, everyone basically has their own producer. So, you know, you'll deal with the same couple of producers, or maybe 2 or 3, depending on who's what where, because you've got to understand there's 12 couples, people on honeymoons all over the country, people, you know, it's a big production. So you've got heaps of different producers, and certain producers will kind of be where the drama is. So you kind of know, like, when something's going on, oh, who's showing up to your door today? Oh, it's you. What's going on here? Oh, who have you been mainly working with? And you're like, oh, this has got something, because they know, like, the drama needs to tie together. So they'll be with one couple, getting one side, getting them to, you know, get whatever they need from that couple. Then they'll come to the next couple. Let's say, same producer would have been with Claire and Jesse, and then coming over to me and Janelle. So they would be really close on what's going on, what's being said, and that kind of stuff. But everyone basically has their own producer, and yeah, I don't know.
I think one thing that we've discussed as well, which again with people that haven't had, that's so crazy how people tweet all this negative stuff and they get so wrapped up into reality TV when, as you said, it is fake. And the thing when people haven't done shows before, even when they've been cast on MAFS, for example, they're trying to get into your head, so they'll ask you questions. Okay, so what do you think about Adam and Janelle when they did this? What do you think about when they did this? And people, when you know, they're low on sleep, they've been on the show for months on end, they end up getting convinced to say, you're in control of what you say, you're in control of your actions. But because they haven't done it before, they get rolled up by the producers and just start speaking crazily about other couples, like they probably usually wouldn't, and then they clip that.
What you got to understand, there are people that are doing that though, because you got to understand, like, reality TV, in a nutshell, is just based around drama. All right. And it's a TV show at the end of the day, and a TV show is a story, and in any story there's hero and there's villain. So you know you need all of that. You can't have a season of just happily married people, because I'm telling you, no one would watch it. Like as bad as it sounds, people watch it for the train wreck. So the producers are smart, so they've convinced the nation that it's real. So people invest into it and then think, how could somebody do that to like someone that they're married? Like, because they're thinking, oh, I could do that to my husband. I couldn't do that to my. So
they relate
just
to themselves.
Warping reality with reality TV, which is anything but reality. So you know, like I'm saying, there's real emotions that happen inside these TV shows. But for the most part, it's not for what they're using it for. So a lot of the times when you see me like riled up, it wasn't anything to do with the edit, like how they've edited it to you guys. There were other things in there, what people have been saying behind closed doors that don't even make the story. So you could see me going off, and it could be about something completely different, but they just use that clip and put it in like I'm getting mad about poor Janelle crying on the couch. So it makes it look like I'm an extra asshole, but it's got nothing to do with it. It's edited. You know, yes. My apologies got edited out. Like everything I was saying about I'm not cheating on Janelle because she's faking the damn thing.
We'll go on to that. We'll go into that. I know. So the person that you're coupled up with was obviously Janelle.
Yeah.
You had a question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So obviously, when they do this process, they ask you what you like and what you're attracted to and stuff like that. Was she your type?
Yeah. She was polar opposite. I got.
When us boys were speaking to Adam, obviously when he was on the show and whatnot, we knew that was not Adam's type.
Really?
Yeah, and like.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. The show, see, even everyone, oh, is it his type, is it not his type? Like, the thing is, there's probably two couples, maybe, like I said, there's probably two couples that have really been matched, like where the show, like I said, needs a hero, needs a villain. So they also can't have a show where everyone's the villain. Like, there needs to be the heroes and the love couple. So they will have like a couple of couples that they really have high hopes for, and I'll do everything to try and keep them together and how they know their edit's already going to go, because what people don't realize is you get cast as a character. They're casting you because they know already what they want to do with you, what kind of person you are. So all these interviews about who you like and what kind of person you are, that's not for them to think, oh, let me match you with your dream girl. That's for them to be like, cool, we know how to work his character. We know what we're going to be able to get from them. You know, we know what we're going to be able to get him to say. We know, and every person in that experiment, honestly, felt like they felt like they were going to be the star of the show, because your producer gets real buddy with you, and you really think like, you know, they're not going to do me dirty. Like, I'll do whatever you want. I'll say whatever you want, because we're here to make a good show, you know? And then they just put it into the editor's hands and go, well, you know, we don't really know what happens. We just film the content. It goes to the editing team and they do whatever with it. So everyone passes the buck, but no one's ever seen anyone from the editing team, because I would love to see someone from the editing team, because I'd love to have a chat to them.
Right, Ed, just because obviously I'm conscious of time and there's going to be so many MAFS questions from both of us. So if you could give us a quick run through of kind of the agreement that you and Janelle had, the wedding day, and then go on to what happened between you and Claire.
Righto, I'll put it as quick as I can. So on our wedding, like as soon as I got to the wedding, I was like, right, because all the girls had been leaked in the Daily Mail. So all us boys had already been to the Bucks party, and when all the girls got leaked. So we were all like, yeah, the only girl that didn't get leaked was Janelle. So I'd already thought like, okay, I'm going to get one of these girls. So I was like, oh, I think it might be her, or it might be her. You know, I was thinking,
you shared with the boys.
It was going to be like Melinda or something like that. You know what I mean? I think she was up there for me.
And sorry, just to add a little context to that. So when he says leaked, it got leaked to the press who was going to be on the show beforehand. So I remember he was sending screenshots to the boys like, yo, I'm going to be, can be her. Sorry, continue.
Because the Daily Mail caught wind of obviously there's the Bucks parties that happen a couple of weeks. They make it out that the Bucks party's like the night before the wedding, whatever, but you actually film that few weeks before you go into the wedding. So flew down to Sydney, you film that. The Daily Mail, the press had got onto it. They didn't show up at ours. The girls were the night after us, and they all got leaked in the press. So all you have to do is open your phone to see, and we were seeing all the girls, and we're like, oh, so we we'd seen all the girls. So the thing is, we actually had, apart from me, because Janelle didn't get leaked, but everyone had seen all the girls before our wedding days, but obviously no one knew who was getting who, pretty much. And yeah, that's how that kind of happened. But yeah, no, I was not happy at all. Like, I was just, you know, I was thinking conscious of the country watching this, that, and whatever. So I wasn't gonna sit there and be like, oh God, you know. They were asking me, Adam, like, what do you think of Janelle? You know, when you're doing your boxies at the wedding, and I'm like, yeah, she seems like a really nice girl, like, you know. And they're like, Adam, like, what do you really think about her? And like this, that, and I was like, you know, I was like, I don't want to say anything wrong here. I don't want to be set up to look like I'm like an asshole, and I'm just gonna go with it and just see how it goes, kind of thing. But I instantly was like, no, this girl's too much. Like, I'm very good at reading people, and I'm really good with, like, you know, vibing on people, and she was just too much. Like, even listening to her vows, like, even though I know that producers help you with the vows, but it was just all like me about TikTok, this, that, whatever. And I was like, nah, she's too extroverted for me anyway. But so on our wedding night, we actually stayed up till 3 a.m. and we had a talk, and I was just like, you know, we had to talk. Like, I feel like we've just been stitched up here. Yeah, we definitely haven't been put together to get along and to be together. And, you know, we talk every day. And I won't skip to that. So that night we're just speaking about, like, yeah, I feel like we've been stitched up. Let's just see how it kind of goes. Like, you know, she'd been cast for like The Bachelor or something before. So she was like, oh, I was going to go do that instead of this. But then I got called for MAFS. So we were just talking TV stuff, you know, and just like, right, we'll just band together. Let's get through this together. And, you know, let's just be a little team, and we'll just put it on for the TV, for the camera. Because, I mean, they're none the wiser, right? Like, the audience is none the wiser, so we'll just fake it. And so I was never in a relationship with Janelle. We never had any real feelings for each other whatsoever, despite what she says. But she came into it making everything about her. She wanted everything about her. She pulled me aside at dinner and was like, you know, you're manipulating me, and you're trying to shut me down on camera. And I'm like, listen, if you want to be the bitch, if you want to be the drama queen of the series and bitch about everyone else, that's fine.
Ads, no B words. Ads, no B words. No B words.
Huh?
No B words.
What did I say?
The B word. The B word.
Sorry.
No worries. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
But yeah, she was you know, people that know TV. She's obviously a TikToker. She knew what she came on the MAFS for, and she wanted to be the center of attention. And, you know, reality TV is circled around where the drama is. So, you know, and she knew that bitching about other people and stirring stuff up, like, that's where it was going to be. Whereas I didn't really care for that. You know, I just backed myself anyway, that I was going to have a good time and I was going to make some good TV, and it was going to be all about that. But she wanted to do that. But we got into a big fight about it, and, you know, from then I just went back and I told the execs, I was like, this is just not it for me. Like, I said, I'm walking from the show, you could have put me with any other girl in here. Like, why did you match me with Janelle? And they're like, oh, you know, like, you just got to, like, you know, they didn't want to say, like, okay, we know it's BS, but they were just like, just have some fun, you know? And I even said to the execs right there and then, I was like, this is before the first commitment ceremony and everything. And I was like, is there going to be any form of wife swap? Like, are we going to get an opportunity to meet any of the other wives in there? And then they were like, oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you? And I was like, yeah, bloody oath I would. Like, I would have been happier to be matched with anybody else. Like, honestly, you couldn't have picked a worse person for me. Yeah. And they were just like, look, just have some fun with it. I actually think that I gave the producers the idea to do that couple swap thing because I asked for it.
So how did things transpire then? Let's go towards kind of how things got portrayed, because it looked like you guys were getting along, and then Jesse and Claire weren't getting along at the start, and then the kiss, which is the big.
But can I also just say, before you go on to that, right, from somebody looking in and watching it, do you genuinely think that she wasn't attracted to you? Because she looked gassed when you guys got married, when you first met.
Nah.
Oh, so she
she might have been, you know, like, she might have been, and, like, at the end of the day, like, you know, I wasn't like, oh, this girl's terrible. Like, I was like, oh yeah, you know, she's a good looking girl. And it was more her personality and the way she spoke to me was kind of where I was, you know, it's not like a looks thing, but I'm not a looks person. Like, obviously I love beauty and I love good looking girls and that, but, you know, I actually went into this thinking like, oh, I could actually meet someone here. So the looks part isn't the big part. It's like who the person actually is. And I just didn't get a good vibe off her straight away. And, you know, she wasn't there for love anyway. Like, and I know that personally. Like, everyone went there for the hope, just like any of the other dating shows I've done, where they're like, oh, you know, potentially I could meet someone here. Just like if I walk down to the local shops, I could run into the love of my life. So it's like there's a chance, but I know what I'm actually there for. It's TV. So cool, we'll do it like that. But Janelle, honestly, she might have been happy. She said she was super happy, but she didn't treat me like she was happy behind closed doors. You know, she just used to nitpick me all the time.
Yeah, she kept going about
finances. Down on me and everything.
She kept going on about finances. She kept going on about the whole fact that you were open about cheating. That was crazy.
Yeah, but that was drummed up by production, right? So production knew my story. They knew my past. They knew everything about me. Like, you know, my past relationship and what I openly spoke about to them. So, you know, they're the ones that brought that to her family. That I wasn't the one. I did say something in my vows, like, you know, like I haven't lived a perfect life or something like that, you know, and that was all they needed to like jump on that. And then they were like asking the brothers, you know, because I overheard them in their boxes, and they're like, so what do you think that was like? What would it be like if you found out that he cheated on in the past or something? Like, you know, it's all manipulated by production. They have a storyline, and then they just plant their little seeds and ask the questions that they need so they get the right content to use in whatever situation that they need.
So then what happened with Claire, especially for the audience that want to see?
Yeah, so look, I had, just so you know, I put Claire about 7th in the photo challenge, like when we had to, you know, the first week name.
Savage.
What the craft and all that. Like, Claire was right down there. Like, I didn't even notice Claire, to be honest with you. Like, there was no anything, you know. But all of that, like, I'm not even going to big myself up, but there was a few girls in there that had put me first, you know what I mean? Like, and Duncan, like either Duncan was first or I was first, or me and Duncan were first and second. That's not for everyone, but they hardly showed everyone's thing. So, you know, going into it, everyone's looking at who everyone else got, and, you know, you're with a complete stranger, this, that, whatever. So everyone's comparing, whether they like to admit it or not. Everyone's comparing to who they got matched with and looking left and right at who everyone else got. And that's kind of how it is. Because it's like a luck of the draw thing. You sign up to this thing and basically you're in the hands of the show. So you get who you get and that's it. You got to either make it work or not. But most couples, whether they won't admit it, they'll have that conversation with their partner behind closed doors, off camera, like, what's really going on? Do you really, you know, if there's real feelings there, there's real feelings, go for it. You know, you're in a perfect environment, you're living there together, like it can actually, you know, you could build a real relationship in there. Of course you could, you know, but for the most part, what's the chances that you've actually been matched with your dream match when the show only matches like 1 or 2 couples purely for love, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so, but anyway, long story short, we were on a night out. Janelle wasn't on that night out with us, so we all snuck out. Like, there was a heap of us that snuck out. You're not allowed to be out together. You gotta, you know, let the show know every movement, every time you step out, and you're definitely not allowed to be seen together with other couples because they don't want things to happen that's not put on camera. So one thing that you don't understand, it looks like we're always all together and everyone's just moving around freely and with that. We're all on the same level in the hotel. We're all on level 9, but you're not even allowed to go into anyone else's room. If you go and knock on someone's door and get caught inside, like you get in trouble. They keep everything separate because they don't want the contestants or the participants, let's say, to really know what's going on and to do too much talking, like without them being in control of it. Because if you're seeing someone over a weekend and you go out with everyone and you know, people start talking about what's going on and you know, the show doesn't go the way that the producers want it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
But when it came down to me and Claire, Claire came for me. Like, Claire sat down beside me as soon as we got to that park, because me and Duncan rolled up there together. She came and sat down next to me, and the only conversation that everyone was having was like, what do you think of your partner? Like, did they do good? Every single one of us said we got stitched up. And I was there with me. There was Claire, there was me, there was Sandy, Cam and Lyndall were there, but they were there together and they seemed like pretty happy. They actually were pretty happy with themselves. But Sandy, I remember her saying that, you know, she got a polar opposite, like, and Claire sat down beside me and she goes, oh God, they paired me with a bloody retard. Like, that's what she said, you know what I mean? And he was sat across from the table just up the other end. And I was like, yo, But they just had this hugest fight like a couple of nights before, and I thought, you know, she was saying she hates him, he was saying he hates her. I was like, these are the first couple to go. Like, they're gone week one, definitely, like 100%. Did not expect Claire to write stay after that first week. And when she did write stay, I was like, this is hectic. Like, okay, shit's gonna go down. It's definitely gonna come out. Because me and Claire, we had the talk, like, we know how fake the show is, so we're like, right, we're just gonna see where we can go with it. But she fancied me, and she was like talking about what we're going to do when the show is finished. You know, she's like, oh, I'll come up to Brisbane or you come down to Melbourne. She's like, you know, it won't be a relationship or anything like that, but we can just have some fun. I was like, yeah, it's like all good. Like, I'm up for that. And then, so that conversation happened when I first got there. And then as the drinks were flying and we're getting like, everyone was getting more friendly, whatever, she kept trying to get me to leave with her. She was like, let's go down and come to Macca's with me, or come to the ATM, or she was just trying it, you know. And I didn't leave because I was having a good time with everyone. And then right at the end, she was like, oh, who wants to come down for a vape? But she looked straight at me. And by that point, I was just like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go for a vape. I knew like I probably shouldn't have done that, but, you know, because I was thinking, when we already spoke before and said we're not going to do anything on the show, like we'll just friggin' park it and leave it till the end. And yeah, that's kind of how it happened. So the only reason why Claire brought it out and made it out that she was, you know, felt guilty and felt bad about it all was just because she wanted to worry about her image and how she was going to be portrayed. And all the girls, they all like crowd around her and backed her up because, yeah, they all just turned on me, and they're just bullshitting, to be honest with you. I know everyone's going to say, oh, you're probably just lying, that's just bullshit. We saw what we saw.
We can't swear, we can't swear. We can't swear. We're on radio, remember.
Oh, I keep forgetting. Sorry about that, guys.
Thanks for having a casual chat.
What was that?
I said, you think we're having a casual chat off air?
Exactly. I've got to forget, so sorry about that.
It's all right.
But yeah, like, that's where most of my frustration was coming from, just because I knew that they were all just protecting Claire. I knew that the show was protecting Claire. Like, I speak to Jesse, like, more than I speak to anybody off the show, to be honest with you. Like, and he's an absolute legend, you know, and like, I didn't expect him to feel the way he felt about it, because I thought he hated her, you know? I thought he hated her. I thought that he was a very confident, out there guy, because I met him at the Bucks. I thought he was up there in my top 3. I freaking loved the guy, but I didn't think he would have cared the way that he did, you know? And people that are listening are going to think, well, of course he was going to care. That's his wife. After everything I've just told you about TV and how TV really is and what I've been doing for the last 7 years, like, MAFS was like the 10th reality show I've been on, so I got cast for that reason. Like, I don't see it as being real, whether or not people are going to say it is or whatever.
Advert break literally is just coming up now, and we'll continue when we get back. Back for the last quarter. So again, I know we want to touch on narcissism ads, so I'm going to just run through MAFS very, very quickly, right? So we've got into the kiss, you and Claire have kissed, it's become a massive promotion. Do you want to explain to the audience everything about the whole gaslighting Jesse situation?
Yeah, so the kiss never would have even come out if it was Claire. She went back to the apartment after that night and she was on the phone to some other guy. I think it turned out that it was her ex-boyfriend she was talking to, but I think she had him on loudspeaker. So Jesse had woken up at like 1 a.m. or something and come outside, and his girl's outside talking to some random guy. And he thought it was me for some reason, because he'd seen how she was being with me like throughout the night. He thought that was me on the phone, so he comes storming to my room, and he's like, you know, banging down the door, coming with no shirt on, and he just stormed his way in, and, you know, like, was really fronting to me, and I was like, oh, here we go, and he's like, hey, you're on the phone too, you've been calling, and I was like, oh my God, I thought he was actually going to talk about, like, he was going to say something about the kiss that happened. So really, that's where I went wrong, because I'm like, bro, like, I wasn't even on the phone to you, girl. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you coming through my room at 1:30 in the morning accusing me of something that I ain't even done? If he had come to me with like, oh, Claire told me, or yeah, I know, then of course I would have had to own it right there and then. But I was like, oh, doesn't know about it. What the hell are you doing here? That wasn't me. So really, that's where I went bad, you know, because I flipped it on him purely just because we're on a TV show, and I was like creating the drama, like, you know, and I was just like, well, cool, he doesn't know about it. We've still got away with that, and yeah, that was all my fault.
Wait, I did not know. I thought it was you on the phone.
No, it wasn't me. No, It wasn't even me on the phone. Like, and that's why he ended up sort of being like, oh, look, I'm sorry, man. See, the thing is, they edit it and chop it up so much that you don't know. They just use pieces of this, that, and whatever.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't
It's
sure.
their story. So we're saying the truth. They'll just take snippets of what we're all saying and make it look however the hell it is presented to the public. So, you know, he felt bad because, you know, he knew it wasn't me on the phone. Like, I think she owned it. It was someone else that she spoke to. And it was like, oh, sorry, Adam. So there was no need to bring up, oh, yeah, but just let you know, we did have a little kiss downstairs. It was, you know, let's just get on with the show and, you know, let bygones be bygones. And I apologized to him heaps. And I was like, bro, I'm not saying that you were wrong for what you did. And I'm apologizing for how I made you feel, for the things that I said and done that night. So in my head, I'm apologizing to you for the kiss. I know you don't know about it, but I'm apologizing to you from the heart of hearts, because once I seen his reaction, I was like, oh God, like, what the hell have I done here? Like, I thought it wouldn't have even been a problem, because I'll tell you right now, if the shoe was on the other foot and he had to kiss Janelle in the situation that me and Janelle was in, I wouldn't have given two shits. We would have just spoken about, all right, so how's this going to play out on camera? So the thing that I was so annoyed with Janelle is because we'd had our agreement, what we were doing, and then when the narrative got switched and she had a reason to just come for me, because she tried it throughout the weeks of the show, steering the ship, the Janelle show, and I was not having any of it, and she didn't like it. So when she had something on me, she was like, this is my perfect out. I'm gonna just create this whole big scene, and the whole country is gonna love me because I'm the victim. You know, we spoke about it. Because at the start we spoke about, okay, well, we're not gonna cheat on each other because we're not gonna get caught in a cheating scandal, but that was always the talk, like, oh, I wonder if there's gonna be a cheating scandal, I wonder what's gonna happen. And we were like, yeah, we ain't gonna do that because, you know, one of us is going to become hated, right? So, you know, so we did agree that we weren't going to do that to each other. Like, we were going to play the game, but we weren't going to do that. So I get that. But her acting like we're in a real relationship and her crapping on, look, I only brought myself to watch the show, to watch those episodes, literally last week. And the first person I rang or messaged was Jessie. And then after that was Alyssa for how she went in on me, and then Bronte as well. But yeah, like literally I watched her performance and I had to clap. Like, I had to give it to Janelle, because I'm like, that is a masterclass, Oscar-winning performance, what you've done. And like, you know, everything she was saying, I'm like, you be, or whatever, that's you, that's not me. But I'm like, okay, but that's how she plays dirty, you know? It's all about Janelle, it's the Janelle show. She wants to come across as being hard done by because she thought she was going to get more viewers and whatever.
So let's move on.
That's all she cared about.
So let's move on from there, because obviously, for the audience that don't know, basically, Adam got a bad edit. As boys, he was checking in with us constantly. We knew that it was a fake relationship. We knew obviously about the kiss. So he got a bad edit. He got made to look like he was gaslighting Jessie. Obviously, he just literally explained it was mainly because of the phone call, which he actually wasn't on. It was her speaking to her ex. They didn't show that on the show. He's basically gone to Jessie, said, you're crazy, this, that. And then obviously the kiss has come out, but there's no correlation between the kiss and the call. So to the audience, it just looks like Adam's just gaslighting, but he had kind of reason to. But then obviously you've made up with Jessie.
But I still was silly for doing that.
Yeah. But you've made up with Jessie since the show. You kind of walked off, I guess. Janelle did as well. How did you find life after MAFS? And this is a great transition into your next relationship.
Yeah, so life after MAFS, you know, I had to stop watching it obviously because it was just too much. You know, I was like, that's just, you know, I could see, like, I was hating myself. Like, the person I was watching, like, I was like, I hate that guy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not watching this shit. Like, as if, you know, and just knowing what I know, that was just the hard pill to swallow. But after the show, I sort of just, you know, went and lived under a rock for a little bit. I ended up meeting, I'm not going to say a name, but I met someone, and, you know, a bit of an old flame kind of thing. We had a little, whatever, one night, how many years ago, where we just, you know, nothing serious, but we connected one night. And, you know, she just got out of a relationship, or so she told me, whatever, or however many relationships turned out that she was in. But, you know, we connected, she just came back, I just come back, and yeah, we just started seeing each other. And then, like, I sort of turned my back on the whole TV thing after my bad experience. So I was like, look, I'm happy just to, you know, get into a relationship. I actually like this girl. It's been ages since I've really had feelings for anybody, and I was just, you know, ready to give it a go, because I kind of always thought I was gonna, meet the love of my life, like either on a big show like that or off the back of it. And it just kind of worked out that, well, I'm only back here in Australia right now because of MAFS, because of the thing. And she'd just come back a couple of weeks prior to me, and then we run into each other. So it was like, it was one of those, oh, this could be meant to be type of vibe. But yeah, so I was with her for pretty much the whole year, and she didn't like me doing anything to do with social media. She didn't, she knew I'd been on the show, but she didn't want to watch it or anything like that. And, so I basically just, shut off really, and was just in a serious relationship with someone who I thought was really into me, but it turned out she was just mirroring me and manipulating me and whatnot because, yeah, okay, I'm the big dirty cheat from kissing someone on some fake-ass reality TV show, but in real life, I've just gone through, like, her really cheating on me and, like, having some other guy messaging me and sending screenshots of, conversations and what she was doing, and, like, so, and I've spent, the better part of 2023 with her and lived with her. We lived together and, I'm helping her raise her 8-year-old son. So
Wow,
that's real life.
that's intense.
So when people look at me and think, oh, you're this, you're that, just from who they've seen, like, I just brush it because, like, I've not been perfect in the past, but I've changed. And, when people say about men and women and all this sort of stuff, I feel like I've had the worst luck. And, could not imagine that somebody this at that age, this day and age, whatever it is, that would manipulate someone, lie to them, gaslight, and do that, like, in the real world, in a real relationship. I'm here looking after your son while you're out doing whatever the hell it is that you're doing. So, and that's the second time that that's happened to me in my life. So, it just, I don't know. It just sucks when you give it your all and you have high expectations or high hopes that, you actually found someone, and then for it to be like, turn out that it was just all based off lies, like it was just a bit tough.
Yeah.
So I went through the shit on the whatever. I went through MAFS, and then I've just gone through this like couple months ago, months ago, whatever part of the year. Like,
I guess you had a double hitter, and kind of, I guess, if obviously you don't mind, because obviously it's a Step Up Unfiltered, all about real, honest conversations. How low did you feel? Because I know there was a time that you messaged me, you crashed the car or something like that, and I remember your route was you want to get back to the UK, but you kind of put that on hold for this girl, and she was in the process of leaving. How did that feel?
No, it sucked. It absolutely sucked because she was actually my rock through the airing of MAFS and all the in and out stuff in and around it. So she honestly was. Like, I would spend just all my time with her, and and I felt like that was my safe space when I was with her, and nothing else really mattered, and she wasn't interested in any of that stuff. I could shut off from it all, and when we were together, like, I didn't have to think about any of the BS noise or whatever it was that was going on in and around the show. So I think I was probably a bit vulnerable. I was probably a little bit naive. I was probably a little bit all sorts of things, and I was probably putting a lot of hope into that, maybe off the back of my really bad experience that I'd just gone through. So, it was a double whammy, but, I'm definitely good now because I realized that, like, she never was the person who I thought she was. So, as soon as I realized that, it's a lot easier to move on when it's not like someone's just up and left you and that they're a great person and now they're with someone else and you just wish that you could have them back. Like, I'm stoked to not be with that kind of a person, and do I think, I've wasted my time? Yeah, but everything happens for a reason. Like, I'm still here right now, getting myself back to the UK, but if I was meant to just come here, film the show, fly straight back, then that's what would have happened. But it turned out that I met someone, and everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So I'm not like super upset about it, because now, like, I'm wise, my eyes are open to it now. Now I know what a covert narcissist is, and now I know what to look for. So it's a lesson. Everything's a lesson. Like, I don't look at things and think like, oh gee, poor me, this happened to me. Like, there's always something happening worse to someone else. But now I'm just like, okay, cool, right, I'm better for that now. Like, now I've got my eyes wide open and I'm focusing on myself, and the things that she used to say to me, it's just made me want to be, I just want to be the person that she would never be able to get anyway. So, like, that's given me motivation to be successful in my business, and it's sort of lit the fire to get me to where I need to be. And now I'm just focused every day, and I'm just grinding, and I'm I'm going to achieve everything that I know I could achieve that I put on hold when I was with her.
Hey mate, the biggest comebacks come from the biggest comebacks come from the biggest setbacks, and that's actually something that I want to touch as well, and I want to bring Emilia into this one as well, because I feel like narcissism, people just think it's the big scary man that's narcissistic, and it's a damsel in distress that has to suffer with that. And narcissism, it, as I said, it's bad men and bad women. It's not a case of 100%. Men are narcissistic. I really don't get it. There's a lot of narcissistic women. You hear them on podcasts all the time. As I said earlier, I'm a 10. No one can tell me about myself. Well, if you think you're a 10, that means you think you're perfect. That means that you think that you can't go wrong, you have no flaws. It also means that, let's admit, society is a bell curve, right? You have 5 out of 10, you have 10 out of 10, you have 1 out of 10. That basically means that you think you're the top quarter, that you're the top percentage of the world, and that everybody else is pretty much beneath you. And that's what you think by that. It's that's actually what you're saying.
I genuinely think it's so evenly spread.
Same.
Like, I do not think it's a male thing. I think it's both, and I think we've all got friends that we know are like that in relationships, and like even friendships. Personally, I've definitely fallen out with people and never been friends with them again for those characteristic types, and that's women. So I genuinely think it's even.
And like I can tell as well from what Ads is saying, she would have, as you're saying, mirroring and whatnot, she would have used the fact that, oh, well, you were on MAFS and you cheated, although it's a fake relationship, when she was actually going out and doing the cheating in their real relationship.
That's a guilt complex, though.
That ties into it.
Yeah, of course.
That all ties into it. Ads, why do you think that narcissism is such an overused phrase in society now? I know you were actually with a narcissist, but in general, you know how people just chuck it out there.
And listen, majority of people out there don't really know what a narcissist is. Like, you're never going to really truly understand. Okay, your parents may be a narcissist, or you may have been with a partner that's a narcissist, or there are plenty of people out there that know narcissist people that for someone to even be a narcissist towards you, like, you need to be in some type of a relationship, or close bond, friendship, like some family member or something like that. It's not like, oh, the milkman, he's a narcissist, he comes around and seems grumpy, he's a narcissist. That word gets thrown around so much, but I'm telling you right now, I was on MAFS, that word narcissist got thrown around left, right and centre. I didn't even know what the word was, like, 2 years ago, whatever. But, I really only know what a narcissist is now because I've done my research on it, but it's only because I experienced it myself. So, I don't know, like, anyone out there that's been in a relationship or is in a relationship with somebody where, you'll know if they're a narcissist because they'll be controlling you, things just won't add up, like, they'll be saying whatever they're saying to their actions doesn't match up, People that are narcissistic, and there's different types of narcissists. Like, I've only looked into the covert narcissist because that's what my ex was. There's different types, I can't remember the other name, but what they do is they create trauma bonds. So it's a trauma bond. So what they don't feel empathy, they don't feel this, they feel that they're the only important person in the world, and they really don't care too much for anybody else around them. Like, they're very insecure people. They appear to be very confident, very love. That's the scary thing about what a true narcissist is very little people know that they're a narcissist. That's what I mean. Like, even me now trying to explain to my friends, like, all those things that I sent you, Nate, that I've been looking at, researching and studying, like, you can just read them as words but when you've experienced it yourself, you'll read them and go, oh my God. They'll be talking about men and women, but they're the same words. It doesn't matter. So I don't think there's any difference between male and female in those respects. Like,
I completely got it as well, because I remember when, you crash your car, and then that's the moment that you're at your lowest, let's say, you want to get back to the UK and whatnot, and then she's trying to leave you. That's narcissism, because they're trying to create that dependency on them.
Exactly.
I can be your night shine,
I'll look back on a lot, and that's how I know. Like, that's how I can stand here and say I know what it is. Like, I'm not someone just going, oh, everyone's a narcissist. She's the only narcissist person, apart from when it happened to me, actually, but even then I didn't know what a narcissist was, but now I know what a narcissist is. So I know it's happened to me twice now, and therefore I also know that I was displaying narcissistic traits all them years ago myself. So it's a look back thing, but yeah, it's not nice, mate. They create like trauma bond. The way that they sort of love bomb you at the start and they mirror you and they, you know, I thought she was my soulmate, you know what I mean? I honestly was just like, wow, like I've never felt this type of love for someone, and, you know, it was full on. And then what they do is then the mask slowly starts to come off, and then they start to, you know, they give you a silent treatment, or they will, you know, accuse you of stuff. So she started accusing me of stuff, you know, like, oh, well, and then I just thought, shit, it's just because I've been on MAFS and, you know, I've got this cheating scandal thing, so everyone, I can see where she's getting her concerns from, and I'm just trying to prove to her, like, this is who I am, like, come on, like, see me for who I am, like, you know, where is this all coming from? But coming from her because she was doing all that stuff.
Yeah, she was using that vulnerability from MAFS.
And then just threatening to leave and this, that, and whatever. Then the next day, everything would be perfectly fine. And, you know, we'd be like, go look at houses and talk about the future, talk about like having kids, this, that, whatever, like everything, you know. And even now, like when I've looked at it, they'll tell you like the way that the narcissist relationship starts is exactly how it's going to end. And like, it's just a cycle for them. So when I met her the first night speaking to her, all she'd do was talk about her crazy ex that she had to run away from and did all these nasty things to her. And I remember when she told me a story about that, and I was like, well, you've been with him for a while. And I was like, you had to have cheated on him, because I remember myself when I was in that same kind of toxic relationship, I was like, I was definitely cheating. So I said to her, I was like, oh, you would have cheated on him for sure then. And she's like, no, I haven't. And I never have. And I was like, yo, really? I'm like, shit, this girl's never fucking cheated on. I'm like, and I just believed her, right? So that was, she planted the seed from the start. She got me to think she was an honest, trustworthy person from the first day. So I never thought anything of it, you know, but now I know, and now I'm just that guy now. Now I'm the arsehole. Now I'm the crazy guy that's done all these things, you know. They run smear campaigns, you know. Once they've lost you or once they've discarded you, they will try and tarnish you and smear your name. That's what covert narcissists do. And that's what she's doing to me right now. Like, I can't get, she's got all my stuff, you know, she's got my sofa and all this, like everything, whatever. I have to try and take it to court if I want to get it back, because she's told the police that I gifted her everything, which is, you know, because what they'll do is, that's the last bit of control she's got over me, so she wants to hang on to that, so she has the last say, you know?
It's crazy, yeah. It's so nasty when, I mean, it's quite funny, like the last year, I feel like all of my friends, a lot of my friends went through like big breakups, including myself. But I mean, mine thankfully was very amicable. But thankfully, you know, we didn't live together and whatnot. And I'm seeing friends of mine that live with their partner, bought a house together, and a breakup. Thankfully, that's amicable. But there's one guy that I know that is going through a divorce, and that's messy. And it's just, oh gosh, when you're having to go through things such as gifting people, it's all the terminology.
It makes you quite happy to be single, doesn't it?
I know. Yeah, exactly. So you forget how kind of like good single life is when you hear these kind of stories. All right, so we've got 7 minutes left. So we've got some. Should we run through some quick questions, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Hit me.
Hit you, yeah? Okay, cool. So, who would you have coupled up with if you had the chance to now on the season that you were on MAFS?
So who would I rather be matched with, let's say, or who would I rather have been, you know, sitting at the end of the aisle? Is that what you mean? Or
Definitely, yeah.
are you talking about now in the real world?
Definitely, yeah.
At the aisle.
At the aisle.
Oh, down the aisle. Okay, now after I know them all, either Taylor or even Bronte, mate. You know, like, sorry, Harrison, I know how you feel about each other and whatnot, but you know, I highly rate her. But when I first went into there, the girl that I first laid eyes on that I was like, oh, was Caitlin. You know, and I was like, that's who I would wish. While I was in the experiment, I'd wished that I'd been matched with Caitlin. Till Evelyn walked in, obviously.
I was about to say, we were like, we guessed Evelyn.
Because she's with Duncan, they're all good, and I don't even want to go down that road, so let's just leave that one there.
Stunning girl.
Love you guys, love you both.
Yeah, we were surprised. We thought you'd say Evelyn. Okay, interesting. Next question.
I'm not going to say that because she's with Duncan, you know. You just got to be respectful. Like, they're in a real relationship in the real world, so I don't want to speak on that.
No. So the question was like, as if like they were coming down the aisle before their relationship, right?
But yeah. No, so, if I'd been put on the show and there was someone else that I could have been with when I was in there, I wanted to be with Caitlin. Like, that's what I wanted to be with.
Nice. Okay, cool. What advice would you give for someone that was thinking about reality TV, or even in particular MAFS?
MAFS. Okay, particular MAFS, if you're going to go on MAFS to find love, just don't do it, you know? Just don't do it. If you think you're going to go on there to find the woman of your dreams, there's a very high chance that's never going to happen at all. There's a very small chance. But if you just want to go and experience something new, just have like probably the biggest experience of your life, you know, get known by the whole country and potentially what other opportunities are going to come from it, I'd say go for it. Like, I've been doing TV for 7-8 years now, you know. I've done 10, 11 different reality TV shows and I've had an amazing time, met some amazing people, and, you know, I still want to continue that. Like, I didn't after MAFS, but I'm not going to go out like that, you know. I'm definitely going to pick myself back up. I'm going to get back on the big screen and, you know, I'm going to have some fun with it. So that's, for anyone out there looking to get into it, if that's what you really want to do, go for it, you know. If you want to do it for whatever kind of reason, if it's not truly what your body or yourself is telling you, it's for you. If you want to do it because you think this or you think it's going to make this happen or that happen, well, it's not going to happen like that. So make sure it's the right reason, but if you just want a good experience in that, go for it. Like, TV's fun.
There you go, Amelia.
Thank God. Yeah.
She was close to doing MAFS, but
I was very close to being in the UK series, but I dodged a bullet by the sounds of it.
You turned it down, yeah. I actually got asked to be on that in the UK 2018, but you know, I was so fresh after my series Real breakup and everything. I was like, yeah, no way. Like, I just called a wedding off type of thing. Like, I'm not looking to go into that. But yeah, I turned that down. But then obviously the opportunity came to be on the Aussie one years later. I thought, kill two birds with one stone, potentially could meet someone. And also it's going to bring me back to Australia. And it's also going to put me on the #1 show in the country. Like, as much as people won't admit it, a lot of people on there are just chasing that blue tick because they know that blue tick comes with opportunity. You know, if you're in the public eye, then you're saleable. You know, you get brands coming to you, and yeah, you know, there's all of that comes behind it. It's not just, I want to be famous. Some people just want to be famous because they don't feel confident in their own life and they don't have whatever it is, and they think that they're gonna get something else from it. That was never for me. Like, for me, it's all been a financial thing. Opportunity, yes. Good times, yes. Experience, yes. But also, I want to create something for myself that's not the standard 9 to 5. So I knew that people were doing that, going through the TV route. So I was like, cool, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Nice. After a tough year, what's inspired you to come back from the setback and come back to the UK?
To be honest with you, I was always planning to come back. You know, I only came to do the show, so my plans were always to get back there. Like, you know, I've got some great friends here that have been my day ones and all the rest, and you know, been here for forever and a day. But I have been living in London for the last 7 years, you know, and all my boys over there, you included, Nate, Conrad, Mark, there's just everyone, Dom, just Pope. The whole lot of us are all trying to do something, either whether that be in music or modelling or TV or whatever. You know, Malcolm, he's got heaps going on. He's got a big production company, all that. Like, everyone's doing something like that. And I found that was, you know, these are my people. Like, we're brothers. We get along. We go on holidays. We have the best time, and we're like-minded because we all have like that drive in us. You know, here it's not like that. You know, I'm like a fish out of water here kind of thing. Like, people don't understand. People don't get it. You know, who knows what they're really saying behind closed doors and all that. So I know that if I want to pursue this, I need to be there. Whereas if I needed to just be in a relationship, I could happily be back here in Australia, and hence why I got into a relationship and was happy in that relationship, because I thought I found someone that I was going to spend my life with. So I turned my back on that TV stuff. But, you know, I miss my boys. I miss the London culture. I miss a lot about it. But it's definitely a place I need to be.
We can't wait to have you back. So there's 1 minute left, 50 seconds left actually. Is there anything that you'd like to plug for the people?
Yeah, if you don't have me, follow me on Instagram. That's Adam_C13, and look out for my little clothing brand that I want to be like launching this year. I've got like oversized hoodies and stuff like that, women's activewear, gonna have some men's activewear stuff. I'm not gonna say the name, but I've got some pretty big influencers repping it for me, so stay tuned.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's amazing that you've tuned in all the way from Australia. I can't wait to have you back in the UK, my brother. Thank you to my lovely...
Thanks for having me, bro. Can't wait to get back.
Anytime, my bro. And thank you to my lovely co-host Amelia. We'll be back at 4 o'clock today on Luton Urban Radio. So tune in later. Another amazing episode. Peace.